What is going on, everyone, and welcome. It is a crazy start to the morning, at least as of right now. A lot of stuff is plummeting, just absolutely plummeting. So we're going to be diving into what is going on. We're going to be diving into what I'm doing and managing this morning. We have crypto plummeting, got stocks plummeting. Everything is just plummeting. It seems like as of right now. So what I'm going to be doing is I have a couple things that I'm in. Well, I mean, I got a lot of stuff that I'm in that I'm looking to add to. Those are just longer term swings as it is. And then I'm in some shorter term things, which we'll be talking about as well. So what I'm looking at right now is I have ONTX pulled up. It's a short that I have had actually from a little bit earlier, a little bit earlier this morning that I took some profits on. So I have 1,000 short left. And I'm looking for like the 85 area on ONTX personally for a pullback after a pretty big day yesterday on ONTX. They had a $4 price target out. Okay, cool. That's not really news. It's just a price target out. So to my understanding, at least as of right now. And so maybe something else is going to come out today. Who knows? That's always the risk. But I'm looking for the 50 SMA, which is right here, 83 cents. So I'm looking for roughly there. Also, we have some areas of prior resistance around 80 cents. So I wouldn't be surprised if ONTX comes down to about 80 cents or so today. So I'm looking to scale out along the way. And that's really the short that I have, especially with how things are going in the market right now. I think it's kind of, I'd rather be short on some of these names that were up a lot yesterday. Another short that I also have started in, I have some, I'm looking to see, where is it on the left-hand side? It is Dillard's, DDS. I only have 15 shares short, so it's a higher price stock. I have 15 shares short. I will add to that if it pops, but I'm looking for 130 on Dillard's. So I'm looking at this area right back in here, 128 or so was a prior high from a few days back. Then it blew past that, but it's falling below supports. So we look at the 30-minute chart, we are falling below prior supports right now on Dillard's. So I'm looking for Dillard's 135 first kind of target for a few shares if I can't get an ad on Dillard's, and then 130 ideally for the rest of my shares will be where I take profits there. So, it is what it is on that. So those are two shorts because they're just stocks that I've been watching or I've traded recently that are up quite a bit. So that's why I'm taking them short. Other than that, though, I have a small short in SNNP, which I'm looking for an opening flush, and that's really it, just small. And then I was long that one a couple days back, and now I'm short it. So, you're playing both sides. But ONTX is probably my most, I guess, my highest watch play that I'm looking for the decent move down. So 90 cents is our support right now. So that's that. I appreciate the glasses. They're supposed to be blue light blocking glasses, so hopefully protecting my eyes. So we'll see. We'll see. I guess it is what it is. It's not going to be bad for me, right? Can't hurt. But in terms of pre-market gainers, ADXS, no news play, just a penny play, a sub $1 stock that was getting a push. ONTX kind of started the fire on some of those stocks yesterday. ADXS pushed up. So there you go. LPTH is like their next, I guess, interesting play, but even this isn't doing anything. They had some news, I guess, in the after hours, I believe, yesterday. Didn't do too much. I already am up on the day trade wise, because I already traded a short LITX. I don't even think it's on the top gainer list anymore. I believe it was LITX or LXIT. Where is it? It is LIXT. LIXT. Sorry. Yeah, this is why. So it was a pump yesterday. So here's what happened on this one yesterday. I was watching it yesterday, and it was one of those stocks. I made a video. I think it's called like the dirty side of the stock market. And look at this. So they jammed this. Someone, right? The last couple of minutes of the day yesterday, they just jam this. And so what they do on these low float stocks is that they'll just send in massive buys. Who is they? I don't know. It could be anyone, right? They'll massively buy and they'll get the attention on the stock going into the after hours. Then boom, after hours hits, the stock goes to 457. If you bought a ton of shares here in the low threes, you're up over $1 per share. You lock in your gains and you sell into everybody else who starts seeing this on their scanner. Oh my gosh, it's going up, and they start buying it. So what I ended up doing was I actually shorted this one. I got an entry around 410 or 411, I believe. And I got 418, then I got $4, and the average like 411. And I shorted that one in the after hours yesterday, and then because I knew it was a pump, I looked into it. It was literally a pure pump. Then it happened again this morning, pure pump again. It pops to 391. I had an average at like 377, and I covered those at like 353, I think. I could have got even more, but So just some little small plays, but I knew it was a pump. I played it yesterday, so that's why I was able to take it today. But other than that, that's been it. It's like I only things I've been seeing are opportunities are short. Literally, that's it. So it's kind of and you know, with the market down as much as this, we might even buy live on the stream today. We might even buy SVXY. I think I talked about this one in the community tab somewhere a couple days back last week. We're getting down to a decent area. So look at this. This is what happened to SVXY. This is when volatility spikes, which we're seeing the VIX is up 15% right now. When volatility spikes, this comes down, but when volatility kind of fades off, this spikes up. And so we're getting a little spike down. I would like to see more. Down under 46, I think, is a good spot. So I might start to buy some of this in increments and just look for this one again for a move back up towards 50. That's it. That's all I'm looking for. Short-term kind of volatility, I think we can buy that fear personally. That's what I would be doing personally for like a swing idea. So we'll see. But Bitcoin, Tesla, all this stuff is getting crushed. Let's say the market just opened. Okay, my SNMP order just filled. Let's pull this up. SNMP, I just hit some of that filled. So let's see if we get a panic sell on that. And I'm looking to have the rest covered. It was technically a short, right? Covered at 93. So we'll see. I took some off there. Let's see. What is ONTX? ONTX, I want to see if this falls below 90 cents here. ONTX under 90 cents, and it's probably coming down to 85, I would say, fairly quick. But there's a pretty big buyer, or at least a order right now showing up on the bid. 268,000 share order. That's pretty substantial. And then there it goes. It's gone. So that order just got eaten through. It's the market open, so you can see that happen pretty fast. And now let's see if I can get that panic kind of sell fill on those shares right here, looking for 87 cents. And ideally, I want 85 and then 83. It might be a quick panic sell at the open, and then that's that. So that's what I'm looking for on those. Okay. That's really it. But that was really, we'll have to let things kind of settle down, give it some time here before, we can assess how things really kind of get digested a little bit. On the right-hand side, I'm going to change this now. This is going to be the top gainers on the day. So give it a second to update, and it'll update on the top gainers for today. So right now we have ADXS, a little bit of a pop, but nothing crazy. Hit up to like 64 cents, and then it's pulling back right now. RETA, RETA is a little bit of a pop, but again, nothing crazy there. Let's look at my DSS. I have Dillard's. Okay, here it is. So we got a little bit of a pop on Dillard's. I might add into this one now that I'm looking at it. So let's see, zoom on out. Let's see if we can get a Dillard's. I'm looking for 130-ish on Dillard's realistically here. So let's just see if I can average in. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a pop. Let's get rid of these and let's add to that. We can add to the short position here in just a second. You're going to see also brokers are probably going to be delayed, so there's no rush to get in, get out, do anything crazy or stupid right away. So let's just see how things settle. The market right now in terms of everything is down over 1%. S&P down 1.25%, same as the Dow, and the Nasdaq's down 1.5% roughly as we see right now. So let me just go 5 at a time on Dillard's in case it pops. I'm looking for like 5 at a time. Let's see if we can get like a 141 ideally on that to bring my average up. Hard to bar up security, no big deal. I'll take it. But yeah, I'm looking for like 135 and then 130 on that one down to the downside. So just something small, nothing crazy, just making or trying to snag a couple bucks here and there is really what it is today, the way that I see it. And then I'll be adding into my swing. So I'm let things settle down, and then I'm going to add to some of the swings that I like the most, which some of them, comms is back at 2, under 2, I'll add on comms. CEI could be CEI, I'm probably going to add on CEI. NVOS I want to add. LMNL probably not unless it goes under 4, which it might, but I've mostly scaled out of that one already. I'll hold that one more week because the PDUFA is the beginning of June, so I'm not going to hold that one into the early June. Yeah, but other than that, literally every single stock on my my position list is all down. It's all down, but it is kind of expected, right? Okay, ONTX that just filled. We just had that fill on the 87, so 87 hit. Now I'm looking for 85. And notice when I say I'm looking for 85, I'm looking for 85.1. Reason why? Let's see if it fills. Let's get it. Because 85 will be an area. It's a whole kind of 5 cent level. it's going to be an area that there'll probably be a lot of buyers. So I want to make sure that my order gets filled before that. And to do so, I make sure I kind of almost undercut it, right? In a sense, but in this case, overcut, or I guess whatever you want to call it, the order of 85. So, okay, we're coming down. We scaled out. I scaled out like half. I'm like halfway out of that now. I had like, I had more. I had like 1,600 shares short on it earlier. So we scaled out a good chunk of that. I can't complain about that. We became, 0.2 of a cent away from my order. So I'm sure we'll probably get that today. Not sure, but we'll hopefully get that today. And then what I'll do is I'll set another sell or buy. It's a cover to cover the short at 83. The 50 SMA is at 83 cents. So I'm going to do that in case we get a flush out to 83 on ONTX. So I'll set that up there. That's that. Dillard's, nothing. It's potentially going to fill me. I'm curious to see if I can get a decent move down on Dillard's down today. We'll see if it happens. It's been one that was crazy. Look at Dillard's the past couple of weeks or the past couple of days. And look at this thing. Crazy movement. 50 SMA support, beautiful. And it's really overextended now after earnings, I believe. But I'm looking for it to come back down and test the prior high, area around 128. I'll give it 130. And so that's a $9 downside in terms of where I see it from right now. So that's why I like that as a short idea. And it's one that I would be fine, honestly, to swing. We'll see how it goes today, and that'll be my determination, I guess, my determining factor of what I'm going to do. It's got a pretty big spread, though, so it's not like the spread's kind of a pain, I will say. Other than that, though, this is interesting. Also, I'm really interested to see how small caps do in general, how my swings roughly hold up throughout the day. So we're looking at, like, right now, it's sorted by what happened just now. ONTX just filled. Oh, no, that's old news. Okay, sorry. It was a little delay from the broker. But generally, I'm looking at see how the swings hold up because we have a bunch of these things that are not even down that much. CEI is down 5%. Cool. The market's down. When the market's down this much, usually you see a lot of panic selling and a lot, things can be down a lot more. So I'm surprised that it's holding up. Outside of that, NVOS down almost 5%. AMPG actually is one that I like a lot. I like it down here under 4 a lot. So I'm going to probably buy some more AMPG today. We'll see if we get a more of a dip. If not, we'll just grab it at some point. ELYS on a red day, man, I think is great. This is going to be good. ELYS, I'm not going to add. I scaled some out, but I will not be buying more ELYS unless we see sub 4 again, which we may not see. And I'm looking to hold a good, I scale out along the way, but I'm looking to hold a good chunk of those shares for a bigger move. And I'm looking for, realistically, I'm looking for like $10 at some point on ELYS. Now that's also potentially, depending upon, the US rollout of the sports betting from them, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, how they handle it. Okay, so let's check out ONTX. Let's see how we're doing here. But again, look at what I'm saying, guys, in terms of why my target's 85, 83. Because look at this. The 50 SMA, when you break above it, a good bounce zone or support level is this 50 SMA many times, which we're going to see right around this 83 area. Now, it could certainly come down a lot more, and so I'll leave some shares on for that because we have a gap from the 75 down to about, looks like 65 cents. So this gap could get filled to the downside, and it could happen today, tomorrow, whatever. So I will leave some shares for that potential going forward, but I'm looking for that 50 SMA touch first, which is around 83 cents, which is close enough to 85. So every kind of 5-cent level, I want to make sure that I'm scaling something out. So that is that. Oh, Bctx, I'm going to buy this right now. Bctx, I like a lot, so I'm just going to grab another 100 of these. Round that up to a nice round 1,000 shares on this guy. I can buy more. I can and will, but my average is sub 340 now. It's 337. I think it's a really good average on Bctx. So I'll buy more if it dips even further, and we'll let that one kind of sit for today, for now. Let's see. J&J shot. I actually got that too on a while back. It was like the day before that they came back and were like, hey, like let's pause the Johnson & Johnson. That was fun. SNMP, interesting that it's holding up here. 50 SMA down around 93 cents. It's kind of my target on the last bit of shares I have short for that one. But we'll see if it wants to come down. It dipped down to 101, which I took some off there, but We'll see if we get more. I want to check on, we'll check on Bitcoin in a second too. Okay. ONTX, man, it missed me like barely on that one. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. And then Tesla's been getting crushed. I want to look at that too. There's just so much. Let's look at Bitcoin. It dipped down to 29K and it's bouncing so hard. I mean, that would have been a crazy trade too if you took that. I mean, I didn't do it. I just hold my Bitcoin long and that's it. Honestly, if the dust settles and Bitcoin ends up down under 30K, I'll buy some more. It probably comes down closer to my average because I had some significantly lower than, I want to say, 20K. But I think I bought some more along the way, so my average is a little bit higher, or right around 20K probably, roughly. Bctx, I think it's got some support. Let's take a look at this one again. Bctx, it's a super thin stock. I'm not worried about it. Here's the thing. These are just my sells that I have in place if it gets a little news pop or something and I'm not paying attention. It came down to 281 last time. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Did it come down lower? 277. So it could come down lower. I mean, it could go even lower than that. The thing about Bctx, though, that you have to understand is if we go over here and let's pull up FinViz for Bctx, this is one that there's no way in heck I will sell this thing or cut this one really for a loss right now, because you're looking at a market cap of 20 million. That's like that's micro cap, right? I think CEI is a similar boat. CEI is a 15 million market cap. I mean, any press release that has any significance of the future potential or what's going on behind the scenes, this thing will go crazy, right? That market cap can double, and it still is a micro cap for both of those. So I honestly like those too. And these kind of panic sell dips are usually bought up by the end of the day. So I'm actually going to buy another 100 of these. Let's see if I can get the 87, 287 on Bctx. If I can get that, great. I'll let that sit for the day though. No kind of rush in getting in there. And there it is. I got it right now. So I got my average down to about 333, which I think is fine. And I can still buy more. No problem in doing so. EDXS and the gap up. No news. Yeah, that's the thing. There was no news in this one, which was kind of, eh. The reason why in my eyes here was just because ONTX pushed up and was like a penny play, right? So it's like, okay, what? Who cares? So I don't know. ONTX pushed up and a couple other penny plays pushed up. DFFN, back to this layout. DFFN was one that I was watching yesterday that got attention. It's fallen right back off today. So I think I shorted that one yesterday a little bit too. Yeah, but also look at this. The market's now coming down further. The NASDAQ is down 1.75%. We're seeing potentially that's going to go down 2%, right? SPY is down 1.5%. SPY is interesting too, because we're coming up to an area right here on SPY that we came down to roughly very, recently on that first kind of crazy dip. I don't know. I think we can, if we dip below that, 400 would be the area to watch on SPY next. 400. So we'll see. And we can get, it could happen today. Realistically, it could happen today. Certainly possible. So that's why I want to make sure I have cash to be able to add on some stuff further. So I'm not crazy trying to get it. Look at this, Dillard's. Look at that. What do we get? Oh, wait, we got to get out of this. Or we got to trim this one. So I have 20? I have 20 shares short Dillard's. I didn't even know that. Okay, cool. That's great. That's a nice trade, though, because I have, look at this. I have an average at 138.60. It's at 133. Look at that. Dillard's just dumping. Now, I think I could probably, I'm going to take 15 off the table at the 130. I'm going to do 130. I'll do 130.03 just to make sure I get filled before 130. Yeah. And then I'll leave 5 short for some fun potentially. If it wants to go really, if the market wants to really plummet. But that was good that I wasn't even paying attention, and there we go. So I forgot about that one for a second. I still want ONT. I still want to see ONTX to 85, but I might not get it. It got close enough. It might not happen. So we'll see what happens. We'll give it some time on this one to see if we can get a little settling down. But we'll see. What I also may do as well is I've already locked in half of my position on ONTX for a profit. So what I might do as well, what I've been doing lately, is also just putting a stop So what I might do is put like a stop at like 93 cents or just over 93 cents because my average is like just under 94. So I'll put a stop on those shares. And if it gets up to that level, I stop out for a profit on the rest of those shares, worst case scenario. And if it keeps pulling back, what I could also do is just move that stop down. So right now we probably have resistance around this 96 area, 90.906 or so. It seems like resistance right now on ONTX. It's where it popped initially, or kind of had some resistance at the open. Yeah, it's pretty like nasty out there. But Bitcoin recovered, so that is what it is, I guess. Yeah. What else? What else is going on? What else do we have? So Bctx, I like it here still. I think this is one that could like come back to like $3.20 and like it's one of those that no one will even blink an eye if it happens, right? AREC, this is one that I've also been in. I could add more here. I could add back here. I think I actually scaled some out of AREC and then I can add. I might just do that. I think I might do that right now. Let's grab 100 of those at the 70. Well, what is this? 273. It's not trading at 273. It's trading at 290. No, it is. Sorry, 273. Let's buy that. Okay, so now we got a round. I kind of like getting these round, 1,000 share kind of swing sizes. But also with some of these swings though, I have longer term outlooks on these. So what I'll be doing is I'll be trading around the core. They pop. The 200 SMA has been a good popping zone, like a good bounce zone. If they pop off their bottoms or these support levels that I'm looking at, then I scale some out and then I rebuy later on. And my plan is to do that literally all summer. That's the plan. And these may not. I think that they have a chance to go relatively soon, but they may not go. And I'm fully prepared for them to literally not do anything or continue to dip the entire summer. And that's my plan behind a lot of the swings. If they run beforehand, great, right? Great. But in the meantime, I've been kind of just day trading and doing that as well. So I'm not super concerned and I don't need the swings to do anything for me right now. I have a longer term outlook on them. And it's like, hey, if I can wait 6 months, I'm fine with that. I'll wait 6 months and I'll reap the benefits because a lot of them are still setting up very nicely. And VISL, and I think comms as well, 2 earnings, they weren't knockout earnings. They were like, okay, I think numbers were slightly down, but with the reopenings, for example, VISL with more live sports and essentially where they're getting their revenue, they're going to start getting more contracts, I believe, going forward. And they're set up for, I think, 5 new product launches this year. So I think there's a lot of potential this year, the rest of the year on VISL. So that's why I even though the earnings weren't like, oh my gosh, amazing, I still like it at the current levels because there's a lot of potential there. Been selling calls on UWMC. UWMC, I have, how much? I bought some the other day. I bought some, honestly, at not a great average. I bought like the top so far. But I think it's going to go to like 9, 10. So I'm going to, if it dips down under 8 again, I'll buy more. But I'm swinging that one for like 9 to 10-ish, roughly. Mara pre-market, how did that? Mara bounce probably, right? Because Bitcoin bounced pretty crazy. Let's look at Mara. Let's see. Well, it's up since the open. You look at that. It dipped down to sub 19 and now it's back over 20. Just like that. Now, this is actually a pretty good, setup for just a Mara riot, just destruction today because you had the markets down and you have Bitcoin down and it's like, oh my, so all that stuff is kind of crazy. Look at this. ELYS has gone green on the day. That's crazy. I didn't, first stock of the day, at least on my list, my swing list, that's green, which is crazy. OCA, I'm just sitting on this one waiting for them to announce a partner to go public with on the SPAC play. So I have some orders set in case we get a spike on that, but kind of is what it is. So actually I think honestly, in terms of the day trades of what I have done so far, a pretty good day. Can't complain. So we have this Dillard short, which I'm looking for that 130 area. Maybe may not get it. We'll see. So we're looking for 130 on that. We still got a ways to go. Although we're we're up like $4 a share already on that, which is great. We have bought some Bctx, and look at that. We bought some at the 287, and now it's back at 294. So far, actually, we bought some at the 293 and then the 87. So we're up on those, I believe. Both of those ads, which is nice, buying that fear so far. Who knows? Things can change. And then ONTX, more of a day trade here, is I'm short ONTX for right now. I'm looking for 85 to 83. Those hit. I put a stop loss on, a trailing stop loss, and I'm out. I mean, I'm not out. I'll leave, well, pretty much will be out. But 85 hits, I'll probably put a trailing stop on the rest, and then that's it. I'll maybe put a trailing stop at like 90 cents, and that's it, and let that one go for the day, and then just come back and move that stop down along the way on that short. But yeah, I mean, then the way that I've been kind of seeing it is that there's been a more short opportunities. Look at the top gainers. ADXS is like, it's not even worth touching that thing because there's no news and it's up 30%. It's a micro penny under $1 play. I don't know. Is it worth it? RETA. This one's actually looking decent, but it's a $100 stock. So like, is it really that appealing to trade a $100 stock for momentum? I mean, probably for most, probably not. And then we have LPTH. They had news yesterday, and so yesterday in the after hours, so I guess less of an effect today, but it could still go, I guess. Mosey's been pushing up a little bit here, semiconductor play. This one's actually getting some attention now. Mosey's going, so there you go. There's at least something that's going on. But yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. I can't believe the whole Portnoy stuff. I think it's like I think I made a video about why I don't like actively trade crypto a couple days ago. I made that before like Portnoy announced his SafeMoon pick, but I'm curious. Actually, let's go look it up. Like, what is SafeMoon at right now? Like, I'm sure it's down massively, right, from where it was. Can we get a chart on it though? Hopefully we can get a chart on it. I want a chart on, okay, here we go. Here's SafeMoon. It's the past 7 days, right? So I think he announced his pick a couple days back. The thing is down like massively. I mean, that's like, it's almost down like 50% from when that was announced. I mean, that's the whole thing about some of those coins, like some of those, altcoins and whatnot. I don't even know if you call that an altcoin. But AMC dropped kind of hard. Let's take a look at AMC. Yeah, well, this one is probably a casualty. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that's AM. Oh, like, wait, AMC under 10. It's probably just a casualty of the red market. So let's see. 1312. Yeah, well, it actually fell to 1250. I think 1250 is a key area though. 1250 is a key area right here. If we look at the 4 hour, that's kind of an area that it's kind of held up last dip after it pushed up to like 14. It pulled back to that 1250. So you'd like to see it holding 1250 roughly for a move up, but it still looks fairly strong, to be honest. Even in a red market, it is what it is, but I don't think it looks terrible. Okay, what else do we have going on here? My DDS is just chilling at that 135. That was my first target level, and maybe I can do that. Maybe I can take off. Let's do that. Let's do 5. Let's do 5 shares. I'll do it the 135. Just a trim if it feels great. And then I'm going to look for, I really want to see more on it. So let's see if we can get, I want the 130. Let's see, 130, again, 0.03, just to make sure we get filled before the 130. But it's a super weird like spread type of setup because you have, an order just went through for one. No, that just filled. Okay, great. So we took some profits on that, which is okay. $3 per share. Okay. What was it? I was looking to add more. I potentially could have doubled my position on that one, but I wasn't trying to go with too much size. But if I do the math, like what even is that? So on a $138 stock, you have 20 shares short. So 20 times 130. I have 138.60 average. 63. So 138.63 times 20 is $2,700 short position. So, this isn't gonna go up like 100%. So you can't really get screwed too hard. But if you do the math on that, right, you make, what is that? I'm looking to make $5 to $8 per share on 20 shares. That's a few bucks, right? If you average that out to like $6 per share times 20 shares, is $120 in that little trade. You don't need that many shares. This shows you can play any stock. Doesn't matter. You can play any kind of price stock. I like the pennies because the pennies can make those types of moves pretty quick. But honestly, sometimes I like the larger price stocks too, because they're a little bit slower and the risk, isn't as large in terms of like, I'm not going to get squeezed on Dillards. I mean, someone did. If you look back to the past couple of weeks, someone got squeezed hard on Dillards, right? But I'm not going to get squeezed on Dillards up here at resistance, right? And it's, that's why I kind of feel pretty comfortable playing. I've actually traded this one short 3 times the past, last week, I think I traded it twice short. I missed out on this big crazy dip. I think I captured this move though. This move back to VWAP here. So I like taking it when a stock is super overextended over VWAP. I like taking it back to VWAP in terms of taking a short position and then just riding it back on down, hitting VWAP and then getting out at VWAP. And if it bounces, it bounces. Many times if I'm not paying attention or if I'm not watching close enough, many times, it'll hold up at VWAP for a second and then it will plummet on through and you'll actually end up getting a larger move down below VWAP on some of these things. But, for example, like Dillard's back in here, if you look at this, it went from 152, VWAP here was at 146. Okay, so it fell off $7, $6, whatever it was. It kind of held up there for a few minutes and then it just went and went to 138. So from 152 to 138 in about 40 minutes, not even a half hour, that's a pretty substantial move. Let's see. Shorting seems like the move. Yep. I mean, I personally, the thing about the shorts that I've been taking, right, is with it. I was thinking about this yesterday too. I was like, this week has been pretty good. At the past couple of days, I've been a couple $100 long, some longs, but probably 70% short compared to long in terms of my active trades. But yeah, it was the fun will be when we get runners again. If we get runners again, Mosey is kind of trying to be a runner, but if we get real runners where we're talking 100, 200% gainers on the top gainer list over on the right-hand side, today our top gainers are 20% and 26%. And then underneath that, we have a $100 stock that's up 20% or 19%. I mean, that's nothing. Usually you see at least one play that's up over 100%. Usually, and this is over the past couple of years of you go through these cycles. So, we're in just one of those kind of slower periods, right? But usually that's what you see. So it's kind of crazy. But when you get one of those, right, now, obviously don't want to be short that stock. But to be honest, I don't mess with, in terms of shorts, I don't mess with these. I'm not going to mess with Mosey short right now. No, I'm not going to touch that because it could keep going. I mean, maybe, I'm not even sure if there's even availability. There's probably no availability here. If I even wanted to, if I were just to pretend to put an order in, there's insufficient shares to short. So I can't even do it, right? So sometimes it's a good thing that Webull has that issue where they have the issue of the insufficient, shares short to short because they're all reserved on other brokers and people are reserving these shares right now. And it's hard to borrow stock already as it is. So, but when you start seeing, stocks that make these types of moves, except this move is 100%, then you that's when you can really, kill it in a sense, right? In a hot period. So I'm fine with taking this. I mean, I've been getting pretty good at the scalps, which is good because it's, you can do that in any market, but ideally, you want to have some runners so you can, throw a few bucks into a runner that has some good news that is following a recent pattern or trend and goes 50%, you make a good chunk of change. There's more, I guess it's not as easy as that, but okay. So Bctx 297. This might go back over 3 as we're sitting here. That was a good dip buy. So far. I don't follow Elliott wave theory personally. The thing is, there's a lot of things that I probably will. There's some books I think on it too that I was potentially looking into, but I don't want to complicate things more than I have to. I think it's even the indicators I have up on the screen, these blue and orange lines, I only use those on the 1 year, 1 day chart. That's it. I don't even use those things very much at all. Actually, for Bctx, what I might do is we have the 50 SMA here at this 350. Since I bought some shares, what I'll do is I'll set I'll just put an order in here for 347 to get filled before that 50 SMA right here. That's probably a good target. So I'll set some shares to sell there. I'm looking for a bigger move on it, but if it pops up to that level in pre-market or there's news one day and I'm not paying attention, at least I take something off the table. I lock in something, right? Even if it's 100 shares. So that's what I'll set that up. Usually that's what I'll do when I add something. If let's say I add 100 shares, on a stock, I'll immediately at least set a 50 share sell, decently higher, especially, in the current market conditions we're in. All right, meanwhile, look at ONTX. We might get that fill right now. We're coming down to that 85 area that I wanted to see. So I have an order there. So we'll see if we can get it. But it might even potentially try to do a little double bottom action here and develop some support here just north of 85. So we'll see if we get that. ELYS is up almost 3%. The market's still pretty gross. Let's take a peek also at SVXY. Might even start a position here as well. Under 46, I think is appealing. I think is really appealing. Let's do that. I'll buy $1,000 worth of this. So how many shares is that? I need to buy like 20 shares. 20 shares. 25. I'll do 25 shares, and I'll look to add. I will add this though. So my plan here with this guy is I will buy more on dips if there's a further dip, but the volatility isn't massive. So I just grabbed it. I have 25 shares at 45.90 on SVXY, and I'm going to do the exact same thing as last time. So I'll put a sell. Let's wait for this guy to load up. Why is the 1 hour chart taking so long to load? I'm going to put a sell at we're going to hit up to last time. I hit up to 49.50. So I'll sell those 25. I'll put a good to a canceled sell in case I'm not paying attention at 49.47. So if that hits and I'm not paying attention, boom, it'll hit. Great. If not, it is not. This is a play on the opposite of volatility. So this is a play on volatility pulling back. So this will be the VIX coming down, shorting the VIX. I have a video going over how to short the VIX. This is it. You could go long this ETF, or it's ETF. So we're already up 6 cents a share on that. But that's what I would do that. So I'll set that up. That's kind of fun. And here's the thing, right? I'm fine building out this to like a $5,000 position if it dips further. So like every 50 cents or every dollar we get a dip on this, I'll buy 25 shares. Boom, boom, boom. I think this is just this isn't like the thing that my theory too with the inflation fears too is that we're pricing in all the inflation fears right now. And then of course, obviously if it happens, if we see more inflation than we're expecting, which we kind of saw last week in the CPI data, right? At least right now. And now I'm down. But if we see more than we're expecting, okay, sure, right? Could the market come down a lot more? Yes. But I think that personally, that's not going to happen. So we'll see what happens. And I think that we're pricing that potential in. So the sell-off won't be as bad potentially if we do see more inflation. But now if we don't see inflation, if numbers aren't as bad, then it's like, okay, what's going to happen? The market's going to rip. I think we can see a crazy run continue for at least, potentially, who knows when that happens. Maybe that happens this summer. So a really good run into the fall. Maybe it happens in the fall and we get a run into the winter again. I don't know. But that's at least my idea or thought process. So if we get down to like $45 on this guy, I'll probably buy 25 more. My mistake on this one last time was I just didn't have enough. So I bought, as we're speaking, it's, volatility is, I guess, coming up. So it's coming down, but I didn't have enough. So I had like 25 shares, but I'm like looking back, if I'm looking at the daily chart on this thing, if I'm looking for, a 10% move on this, okay, cool. $100. I could probably go for more is the way that I was thinking about it. So I want to add. If it comes down further, I would like to add. But I think sub $46 is probably a good spot on the SVXY, unless we see, a massive, crazy sell-off, volatility goes nuts and everything, which is possible. But I just don't think that that's going to be here to stay. I think we get these crazy dips and we get a bounce back. We get a dip, we get a bounce back, and we can still be in a downtrend longer term for that to come back up because we'll steady out. We won't just be kind of free falling. The biggest fear days is when is when you want to buy that thing. So that is that. What else? Anything else to look at? ELYS is holding up quite well. OCA, not doing anything. FRX, not doing anything. Some of these are in my IRA. FRX is in my IRA. Same as PLTR. PLTR is in my IRA as well. So they show up on the left-hand side. AMPG, I would like to buy some, but I'll see if I give it a little bit of time before I do so. NVOS, I might want to buy some of this too. If I could get, how much do I have? I can take some more of that. I'll take some more at the 14 if it fills me. At the 214, I'll leave that order there for the day. E-Wave is great trading pennies. Doesn't work on super volatile stocks. Work well on Bitcoin. Yeah, I'll definitely take a. I'm curious to look more into it myself, because I haven't looked into it really, to be honest, enough and tried it out and see if it was useful for me. But that's the way I see like a lot of these indicators or a lot of these things. If it works for you, great. All right, ONTX, can we get this thing to fill? Let's see, can we get it? We are like 0.2 of a cent off from filling. If it fills, then we have 300 left, and I'm looking for 83. Or we'll have 400 shares short left. So we'll see if we get this fill. But it doesn't look good. The market's coming down again, right? So we kind of had a little chop. Look at SPY. Little chop, and now we're coming down for some more. So I might be buying that SPXY a little sooner than I thought, but that next chunk. But I think it's going to be good. It's going to pay off. Okay, let's see if we get this guy. Okay, we are 1/10 of a cent off from filling on this last chunk, or this next chunk, which would be nice. Mosey is pushing up. Mosey's up almost 50%. So we'll take a peek at that in a second. Let's see. Let's get this fill. Come on, fill it. So close. So close. Don't do me like that. ONTX. I shorted this one yesterday too. I made some money on that one. This is, I think, my biggest winner yesterday, and it was short, even though it had a crazy day. I didn't touch it in the afternoon, but I shorted it on some of these kind of pullbacks and drawdowns, which is kind of crazy to think about because the trend was up. But again, you can make money, long in a downtrend, and you can make money short in an uptrend still. Oh man, it literally hit my number, but it didn't fill me. So we'll see if it can get there. Let's see. Let's look at this Mosey now. Let's see. 575 to 574 roughly is the number. Let's see. Okay, got up to 712. I got up to 712 back in February. So we'll see if this. It's been one of those. Look at that. So it had that same kind of pattern that pattern that I like to see for some bounce plays, where you have a rip day and then you come back down to the 50 SMA, which is this blue line. It held up pretty well in the 50 SMA roughly, which was at 385-ish. And then it's bouncing beautifully off of that now. Mosey's a semiconductor play. Let's see. So I would say it's getting up there. That's getting up into this resistance line, these resistance points. Love these live tradings. Hey, I enjoy doing them too. I want to see, so a couple of little things that I'm waiting for. So I mostly scaled out of a lot of these, but I'm looking for a couple little things. So SNMP, I'm looking for this thing to finally crack $1 and come down. I think today might be the day, but I have essentially 300 shares short left. I've already scaled out of most of that, but the hard to borrow rate's pretty high. It's actually it's only 37%. It's not that bad. It was 100% yesterday or something like that. So I was I don't really want to hold this one for multiple days. So I'll give it today, and if it's going to hold $1, I'll probably get rid of it because I'm up on that. Let's see. ONTX. Finally, can we get this fill here? But the thought process here with ONTX is that it might run again. Still, right? If it holds the 50 SMA, which is around that 85, 83 area. But that's my target on the short. I'm looking for that area to hit. Let's see. S&P just chilling. I have those calls. What was it? This is This is June. So those VISL, I sold VISL calls at like 15 cents. I want to say I sold like 5 or something like that. Back in the time when they were like, elevated. And those expire this Friday. So they're going to expire worthless. And what happened was $15 times 5. I just collected that money when I sold them, and that's it. Now they're going to expire worthless and nothing happens. So I'm going to sell again. I'm going to sell June's. Ideally, when VISL when we have a green day, ideally is when I would want to do that, because then you're probably going to get a better premium on those. So, okay, SPXY has come down quite a bit from the average, but I'll buy more here. It came down last time. It came down to under 44. So it could come down some more, but I'll buy if it comes down sub 45. I'll buy 25 more of those. And then Dillard's here. We're waiting for this thing to hit. We want to hit 130 on Dillard's ideally today. We're now below VWAP, and VWAP seems to be resistance. Okay, just hit 132, so we might even get that sooner rather than later. And what I'll do on Dillard's is I'll probably just set a stop as well on that one. If it hits this, I'll set a stop for the last 5, and just if it wants to go for a free fall and make a few extra bucks, but that's it. The majority of the money will be locked in at that point. Same with ONTX. I would like ONTX is bouncing off that 85. It's like my order is just not high enough for it to hit. So we'll see. It's going to potentially, let's see if it hits VWAP. VWAP's at 80, like 8.5. If it gets rejected at VWAP, it probably comes down, but I have no rush on that one necessarily. Penny stocks haven't been reacting according to SPY. Thank goodness. That's what I've been noticing too. So SPY's down, right? SPY's down over 1.5%. A lot of things are down, but not nearly as bad as like it's been in the past. It's been worse. I'm gonna buy 50 of these. AMPG. If I can get that 376, I'll just set an order there. So if it hits, it hits. VISL, yeah, I think that if this one, what I'm looking to do here, now looking back, right, we had that day where it was, where was it? Back in here. It was like, this is when I thought it was potentially peak fear, like looking back now, was we had this day right here in the pre-market hours, like the market was down, everything was like, oh my gosh, and it went sub 2. I didn't add there. I just didn't do it. I want to see if we got like an opening flush, and we got an opening rip. So I didn't get the add on that I wanted to. But anything under 2, I will be buying more VISL. I'm not going to buy more until we probably get to under 2 or like or right around 2. Like under like 210, I'll maybe buy something that I'll really want to buy more under 2. And the intention behind this one is that if we get a green day, I'm going to sell those covered calls I have are going to expire tomorrow or Friday. If we get a green day after that, or even this week, if we get one, I'll sell probably 5 more covered calls on it, which will just cap my gain at $5 if it wants to run. But if not, I'll probably make a few bucks on that on a green day. I would like to get those premiums. We can look at the premiums on those too. I'm just curious for June. They're probably not going to look good today because it's a red day. But if you look at like June 18th covered call or $5 calls, you're going between 5 and 10 cents. It's not really worth it. But if it gets up to like 15, 20 cents because VISL pushes up one day or the market's green one day, then it might make some sense. You're going to get paid like $15 a contract to essentially set your limit sell at $5. I mean, I think that's pretty fair in my eyes. It will be more than a double from here anyway. So I think it's pretty good. I wouldn't personally, I'm not going to mess with the 250s. There's 250 covered calls that I could sell. I don't want to mess with those. I mean, you're going to get a lot more for them. You're going to get paid a lot more. And maybe you can do like one. You can maybe sell, a couple, depending upon your size. If you had it, maybe. But I'd rather not. I'd rather I'm looking for a bigger move on it anyway. So I want to have more shares for a bigger move. All right, DDS. We're coming down to 130. We're 97 cents off. We're 97 cents off. And then I'll just put a stop on it. I'll probably put a stop above VWAP at like 135. And then I'll move the stop down if it keeps falling. The glasses, the blue light block there. Okay, look. There is ONTX. ONTX fell under that 85. Now we're looking for 83. Could we get the 83? Could we get 2 and 1? Like a nice hard pull here. Glasses, the blue light, they're blue light blocking. So I mean, whether that stuff is legit or not, I don't know. But Can't hurt, right? So, yes, let's see. One more cent, and then that will fill that. Well, it'll have 100 shares left, I guess, for a little ride if ONTX really wants to plummet. Oil play is doing. I have just CEI for right now. CEI is down 5%. I'm probably going to buy some more of that, to be honest. I'm still liking it into June. So my plan behind this one is I really want to get more, but it's actually not even down as much. It hit 56. It's still over. I would buy under. I'm going to buy under 60. I'm not going to buy over 60 right now. I think I can. I mean, my average is at 71. It's not good, but I think we can get. We're going to get a big spike on this one at some point. And CEI is like a 16 million market cap. They love to drop PRs. They drop a nice PR, thing will go crazy. It could probably go back to $1. But we're not in the market. We are not under the current conditions right now for that to happen. If CEI dropped a really juicy PR that was like sounded really nice, they drop that tomorrow, it's not going to do anything. It might spike a few percent. I'll take profits there. I'll probably cut off most of my position, and then I'll look to rebuy, a day later after it dips. Like that's just the market we're in. But when that turns, you want to be there for it. At least I want to be there for that. Let's see. Learn more about covered calls. Yeah, it's really straightforward, honestly. Once you if you've been trading options, you kind of understand. All it is, if you have 100 shares of a stock, and it doesn't matter, and that stock allows options, you can, instead of buying the option contract, you can just sell the option contract, and you collect that whatever the contract costs, you collect that. Someone pays you, you can sell it. Someone pays you, you can do that because you have the underlying shares. So if that contract expired in the money or went in the money, and somebody wanted to execute it, all that would happen would be they just take your shares. They just take your 100 shares per contract you sold. But in the process, okay, you're setting a limit sell order right at that strike price. So if for VISL's example, right, if I'm selling $5 covered calls in this guy, what it's doing is essentially like I'm putting a limit order at $5, which is over 100% upside from where it is. And I'm getting, or at least last time I got paid 15 cents per contract. So in options terms, that's $15. So I got paid $15 to set a limit sell at $5, and that expired on May 21st. So it's going to expire worthless. I keep the $15. Nothing happens because someone paid me for the option to do that. That's it. And if it hit $5, and if it went over $5 and somebody executed that option, it sells my VISL shares at $5 or however many contracts. If I sold one contract, it would sell 100 shares of VISL at $5, and then I still kept the premium. So I kept the 15 cents, and I got taken out at $5. That's why I like it for stocks that I have a longer term outlook on, or that I'm looking for significant targets on, and I'm fine selling it at that point. That's why I like to do it. Back to ONTX. So look at ONTX. We're setting up. Look at this chart. We were at the 50 SMA, so there's going to be some support here, roughly. Now, again, if you look at Mosey, how it's up. Mosey's the top gainer on the day. Look at the chart on Mosey. Mosey pushed up, came down to the 50 SMA, and now bounced. So that's why the target for ONTX is there. Now, could it come down? Could ONTX be an outlier and just plummet back to like 60 cents? Yeah, sure it could. But at a minimum, I want to make sure I'm locking something in there. So we're about a cent off from the target. I mean, that would be a beautiful target. I had thought about this yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm looking at this yesterday. I looked at ONTX last night and said, hey, I'm looking for 85 cents. That was my plan. Unfortunately, by the time I woke up, I just couldn't get it until it was at like 93 cents, 94 cents. So I got it in here, and I average a little bit into there, into some of these pops, but I couldn't really get. Ideally, it would have been great to get up over $1 average on it. Would have been nice, or around as close to $1 as possible. But it is what it is. Let's see, SVXY. Should we go? It did dip below. I'll buy 5 more for now, and then we'll add that 20 more if I catch it again. I might just put an order in. Let's just see. I might just put a buy order in. So I'll just do like a 20 share order. If it comes down to like 44, like 77, I'll just set that up. So if it does come down even further, I'll have that order set on SVXY. And so for those who are just tuning in, SVXY is playing the essentially pull back on volatility. So we're seeing volatility spiking up today because the market's down and everyone's like, oh my gosh, crypto is crazy. Everyone's freaking out. So what happens is when volatility eventually pulls back, this goes up. And I'm looking for, again, up towards like $50 on this guy, right? Which it was trading up there literally yesterday. It was trading up there. So, I mean, I think this could be a pretty good play, a nice little recovery bounce on volatility. No, girlfriend. She is. But I'll hang out for a little bit longer because, I mean, just a chill morning. Sometimes she has meetings and stuff, so that's why it's, I feel bad. I don't want to take up all, just be talking her ear off. Let's see. VISL trying to go green on the day. Look at this. Look at this. I'm loving this because this is beautiful because we are seeing a massive red day. Well, massive. We're seeing a pretty substantial red day, down over 1% across the board, across S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. But what are we seeing on some penny plays? They're holding up. They're holding up decently. Some of these higher growth plays. Actually, let's take a look at Tesla because Tesla, let's see, how is this one doing? Not T. TSLA. Down just about 3.5%, but it's trying to recover a little bit. Tesla's sub, oh my gosh. Oh my. I don't know if any of you guys, some of you probably do. You follow Meet Kevin on YouTube. He bought like options on this stuff. Now, they're long dated, right? So he's got time on these, but I know he bought like far out, 2023s, I guess, options, which must be like, he must be kicking himself now because he could be buying these things now. Maybe he is buying them, but he could be buying these things now and be getting, a crazy good deal on them, which I think is a good idea. I personally would. I just have shares of Tesla in the long term, but wouldn't be a terrible idea just to have, some long dated option contracts, maybe with a strike price up around like 900 or even like $800 or something like that. Tesla, you have over a year for it to get there. And if it goes to, 1,500 or something crazy, goes back to 1,000, you're going to be cashing in massive on those options from, if you're buying them now. But it's all about timing, right? Yeah. That hurts, though. It definitely is hurting him, I can tell. Let's see. Clark Kent with the glasses. Market's trying be a little bouncy. All right, that's what I'll do. Let me get rid of these. I'll get rid of this at the 85. And then I'll leave a stop. Let's do a stop for the last 100 shares. And then if it wants to die, on the ONTX, it could die. But I'll put a stop loss at like 89.1, and then I'll move this stop loss down if ONTX, 89.891 for the last 100 shares, which will mean that ONTX would have to get back over VWAP for this to even hit, which I don't think. I mean, it could, but if it does, it's gaining momentum. I probably don't want to be in it anymore anyway, and I'll lock in those last gains. That's it. But that was a nice trade. I mean, not almost. It pretty much was like a 10-cent move on a sub-dollar stock. That's over 10%. It's pretty good. Pretty good. ELYS up 6% now. Look at this, is going straight up. I love it. I love it. I love it. Actually, this is getting back up towards the highs. I have a sell up towards 5. Why do I have a sell at 5? Because 50 SMA is sitting here at like 490. So I'll be selling some just shy of that. And then that'll probably be the first resistance point. And then I'll buy those shares back if it comes back down again. But I mean, trim a little bit along the way. I'm green on my average, which is great. Because that's been a pain. But yeah, finally we're going to get this, hopefully. Pushing back on up. Oh, Dillard's, come on. We're so close. We're 60 cents off, 65 cents off. Dillard's. It's like so random. I'm just like how I even started trading Dillard's. It's just because literally people think like, oh, you need these crazy scanners and stuff. Literally, the only way I found Dillard's, this is probably going to fill any second, was one day I was looking at the top, like the only thing, like you literally, there it is, boom. So now we got 5 shares. Let's put a stop loss on those. I'll do a trailing stop, or should I do a stop? I'll do a stop, and then I'll keep that stop nice and tight. So I'll put the stop at like 133. Actually, that is a pretty 135.01. I'll put the stop at, and then we'll move this down if it dips further. But like literally all I did to find this one was literally it came up on the top gainers one day. I was just scrolling through the top gainer list. Literally that's it. I found DDS. I was just clicking around. I found it. I'm like, oh, this is up a lot. Maybe I should short it. And I looked at the daily chart. I looked back, and the first day it came up was this day. This first green candle here on the 14th. It hit resistance. I shorted it from like 128 back down to like, let's look at the 5-day chart. Let's see what happened. Yeah, this is the day. The first day was right here. I noticed it got up to this 128 resistance. I drew that line in from the prior high from a couple months back. And it started to kind of pull back off, and I grabbed it right in here. I had like a 127.50 average, and I shorted it back to VWAP, and then I had a couple more that I shorted down a little bit further, but mostly covered at VWAP and made a couple bucks on that. And then, that's how I found it. Literally, that's it. Nothing, no crazy scanner and, accumulation scanner and like, I don't really use, I think there's value there. Maybe one day I'll use one of those, but like you don't need all that crazy stuff, to be honest. Sometimes, people take it. Oh, look at this. ADXS is up now. Okay, ADXS is going to be interesting because it's getting up to that high. So if it gets over 60, or if it gets over 70 cents, this might make a run to like 75 pretty quick because that's a pre-market high. Pre-market high. Let's see. It's getting close. It's gonna get potentially rejected there. Over a pre-market high is usually a pretty good breakout. Pretty good. UWMC is up almost 1% today. Nice little push off the dip this morning. It had a pretty good trend, but UWMC is one that's it's been talked about quite a bit on Reddit from my understanding. It's one of the hotter stocks on Reddit. It was squeezed once, quite well. If we go back the daily chart, it was squeezed. Well, no, it was back in here. It was back in March. It went from sub 8 to 12.50. Pretty crazy, but I think it's undervalued, to be honest. After looking at the earnings and stuff, I think it is. But I'm looking for nothing crazy on it, just for 9. I'll take most off at 9, and then I'll look for the rest at 10. That's what I'll do. Yeah, the guy was saying that I unfollow Elon Musk. I think I don't even know, like, just stupid what's going on. I think it's just a waste of time to be, freaking out with that stuff. Ethereum went sub 2,000. I remember people were talking like, yeah, I can't wait to buy this thing sub 3,000. It's going to be great. It went sub 2,000. Jeez. I think it's probably at my average right now. I bought in late. I bought in fairly recently too. I want to say I bought in like somewhere in here. So it's probably right around my average, roughly. Could have got a lower average, but I'm not like, a crypto hawk where I'm like watching my crypto every 2 seconds. Okay, let's move this. Continuously move this stop down on Dillard's so we can make sure the VWAP will be my stop. If it gets back over VWAP, I'll probably get out. So that'll be, right here, it's like 133.50. So maybe like 134 would be a good stop loss on Dillard's. But we're mostly out of that. So honestly, I don't want to knock on wood. I literally, if I go back to the day trades, I have not had one loss this week on a day trade. Not one. They've all been, now they've been some close ones. There've been like a $2 gain. There was like a $10 gain here because they were like, I almost had to take an L, but I was able to manage out of it and average down or average up if it was a short, right? But so far I can't complain. So today we had ONTX, nice and green. LIXT was a green one from pre-market that I had. We have Dillard's so far. Dillard's is guaranteed green because I've already locked in most of the shares, and we have a stop loss. So worst case scenario, we get stopped out for even the stop is a $4 gain. So pretty solid. But I mean, they've mostly been short, I will say. Most of these have been short. So, honing the strategy, for sure. Yes. TBLT was one. Oh, yeah, TBLT was a missed opportunity because I remember I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, I like TBLT. And then I looked at it and I saw they dropped earnings. And I looked at the earnings. I was like, oh, man. And then I tried to get in. What ended up happening was I had an order set for, I think at the time it was like 65 cents. And it dipped down right at the earnings. It dipped. And then I didn't get the fill. I think I have, because I have these different quantities set here. So yeah, I quickly just grabbed 2,500, whatever the highest quantity I have set for my quantities. I went for 2,500 shares. The second earnings came out. And then what ended up happening was it filled me with 301 shares. I was like, oh man. And then literally minutes later, it was up over 75 cents or 70. It was up over 70 cents. It would have been a nice trade. But I mean, I made a few bucks on it. What is that, Monday? I think Monday. But if I had gotten filled, man, that would have been nice. All right, ONTX, can we be moving our stops? Yes, we can, because we're hitting more lows, so we can move this down to 88. Just locking in, making sure we are locking in more and more gains. DDS is potentially looking like it wants to bounce. The market's bouncing back actually quite well. So where is that SVXY? There we go. We're almost green on that. I wish I grabbed that under 44, but I have 30, so I have that potential order there. So we're green on those now, which is nice. I'm looking for that thing for a move back up to $50 again, ideally. Across the board, though, UWMC is green, VISL is green. I'm interested. That's kind of interesting to see. Mosey's pulled back off the highs. We have ADXS. Oh, look at that. Broke up over 70 cents. Now it's going to probably push to I would say 73 to 75. Let's look if we have resistance on the chart here. Yeah, this could make a move to $1 today. If it could be the same situation as ONTX yesterday. So this one could be a short tomorrow. This could be a decent idea for a short tomorrow, depending on how high it gets. If it gets up to $1, I would say yes. I would think that's a pretty good risk reward. Sure, if it follows ONTX, which ONTX right now is on its way down. Got TBLT at 70. I think TBLT honestly could be a really good play longer term, but it just for whatever reason, it just doesn't like to run. No, it won't go. You could have it could be record revs. It could be they had some good news the past couple of months and just it hasn't really made a crazy run. Even back in February, it made a run to I don't know. It made a decent run, but relatively speaking to other stocks, it didn't make anything crazy. It wasn't a 500% runner, I don't think. Yeah, I might wrap things up. That's to be honest, pretty much how it goes here. We have pretty chill morning, but everything else that I'm in is already been 90% locked in. So I got nothing else to really do. Dillard's, I have the stop for the last bit of shares of my ONTX and Dillard shorts, and then we have SNMP. I have some that ideally would like to see the 50 SMA touch, which is around that 93 cent area. So we'll see if we can get that, but we need kind of a flush on SNMP, which it might. If it falls below 104, it looks like it might. So that's that. Penny's head up. It's honestly been so true. Literally, well, you guys will see this weekend's video when we do going over the recap for the week. Quite literally, it has been pennies adding up, where it's a couple percent here, a couple percent there, but it's you could still make a couple $100 a day doing that. You don't need to be in the crazy runners. You don't need to be in 100% runners every day. You just literally stack a couple small wins, and you can be you snack a couple small wins. You guys see it, you'll see how I'm not trading 20K shares like some of these guys on, social media that are yeah, I just got 30K shares of that, it's a starter. Come on with that stuff. You scale up as you become, as your account grows, right? That becomes the same amount of 10,000 or 10 shares, 100 shares, becomes your new, 10,000 shares or 1,000 shares starter. But no, it's been an interesting time, right? I would say, because even with how things have been, it's been a really good time to be able to focus in and hone in the strategy. Whereas I think it's been super helpful that I didn't do what a lot of people did and just jump ship to crypto. I can't tell you how many things, like how many of those like paid Patreons and things like that I'm seeing for crypto alerts. I'm like, and how that was recent stuff. And now look at crypto now. It could be the dip of the lifetime. I don't know, but there's people that are getting burnt bad on those altcoins that are going down massive compared to like Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's getting crushed. I'm glad I didn't mess with that stuff. Why is ADXS still going up? It's probably going to go to 75 now. 75 will probably be a pretty good psychological resistance point. But I'm going to wrap things up. It was a fun little morning, kind of crazy like, sell-offs to start, but we'll see how things kind of finish up for the day. The NASDAQ is trying to come back, but the S&P and the Dow are still down going quite a bit. So I'm going to wrap things up. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'm going to go with a new posting schedule going forward. So I'm probably going to be posting like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then going live Wednesdays and Sundays. And then I'll leave room to maybe go live Monday, Friday, or whatnot if I want to. But I'm probably going to be going with that newer posting schedule where it'll be like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Saturday videos will be the same that they usually are. They are now. But roughly that's what I'm going to do. I would like to do more lives realistically going forward anyway. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I will see you in the next one. Stay green. I know it's been a red day so far across the market, but hopefully this is helpful. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.